Hello and welcome to another video from the only channel that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy it. And today's video is just going to be another one of them warning videos about putting my videos on your channel, uploading them to your channel or any channel that has your name on them. I want you to do it, but please be careful. Make sure that if you're going to upload these, you upload them to an anonymous account. That's all. The government knows who you are. There's nowhere you can hide from them, but it's the people that are your neighbors, your family, your church buddies or military buddies, whatever. They're the ones that are going to cause you problems. And I've said that before, but I don't think the message is getting through because I'm not really explaining just how real this is. When I started this channel, it was because I had another channel where people were really mean to me because of expressing my views. So I figured if I was going to do something where I express my views, it had to be an anonymous channel. Now, when I first started the channel, I was just talking about, fruit trees, chickens, things like that, no problem. But then I started to test the waters, get a little bit braver, and I actually have turned the channel into nothing but Bible now. And the Bible is what always gets me in trouble. The very first videos I did were called, "What's This Bible All About?" And those were very mild compared to what I'm doing now, but it still raised somebody's eyebrows somewhere because my former church, the Jehovah's Witnesses, sent me a message. And the message basically said, we know who you are, we know where you are, and we're watching you. And at the time, it didn't bother me too much because I didn't see them as a threat. I'd been a witness for 15 years, and most witnesses are very mild. They're not violent. But, I've noticed lately that it's not really the people that are in the church so much as the people that are taking the lead in the church. And since, when I first became a witness, I started talking like I do now, and it got me in some trouble. And then eventually, people started really being abusive. They took our possessions, they took our money. Not going to go into any details, but they eventually even went to where, I had set up a small business. They went to all my customers with materials they stole from my shop and put me out of business. So that's how serious it was. And that was pretty much, we're talking about, I ain't been at a Kingdom Hall in probably 15 years. Maybe not that long, but I think it's been about 15 years. And here we are, I made the All-Seeing Eye video. When I made the All-Seeing Eye video, another elder started attacking me. And I didn't even know I was being attacked. My dog got really sick. And when the dog got really sick, I was running into my neighbor every now and then, and he was acting just incredibly bizarre, just unbelievably bizarre. I ran into him at Sam's Club, and I tried my best not to make eye contact, because I'm not a confrontation type person, but out of my peripheral vision as I was turning, this guy, and this is an elder of Jehovah's Witnesses, he goes, like a cartoon. This is, and I've said before that, in the past, demons could take on fleshly bodies, but then after the flood, they couldn't take on fleshly bodies, but they were still very powerful creatures and could possess people. And I always figured that once Jesus died, that was over. I think the only thing that changed at Jesus' death is that now, for someone to be demon-possessed, that person has to physically want to be demon-possessed. Back in Jesus' day, people, just innocent men, women, and children, and hogs would get possessed. But, anyways, I saw the guy like a week later after the big smile thing, and as I was passing him, I looked, and he did this John Wayne thing. I'm just trying to show you, this is serious. This is, we're talking about somebody that's mentally insane and dangerous, or someone who's demon-possessed and dangerous, and both are dangerous. So you just got to know that that's going to happen. Also, with the All-Seeing Eye, a whole lot of people started coming on with some really evil church propaganda. You're going to hell and things of that nature. And I'll let people say things like that because you never know when they're going to change, and also it's easier to just let them keep going until they run out of steam than it is to just shut them down and then have to deal with them under a new name. Well, over time I let my guard down. And this is a warning for you. And I started telling people my name, my phone number, my Skype account. And the reason I did it, I didn't just give it out to everybody, but somebody would come on and tell me all the things I wanted to hear. How, ever since I was young, I knew that this was the truth, and I've been reading the Bible, and I've come to the same conclusions as you. And that's not even the end of it. Once they throw the story at me, I go to their channel and see what's their channel like, and all of them got like similar, kinds of favorites that I have. And so anyway, I just made this calendar set of videos about how God changed the calendar. Now, honestly, if you think this through and you really believe that there are demons, and they have actually spent the last 2,700 years convincing the world that the calendar has never been changed, the last thing they want is for people to find out that the calendar has been changed. The empire has got trillions of dollars invested in the religions of this world to keep you stupid about stuff like that. So anyway, I made the calendar videos, and all of a sudden there's another change. I get a whole new barrage of this hateful, evil stuff. And since I started this series, I've come to find out that 5 of the guys that I have given my name and address out actually set up fake accounts to find me, just to find out my personal information. So there are 5 people out there right now, actually it's 7 altogether, because there's 2 other people I know, that in the last week have completely turned on me. But they set these accounts up just to pretend like they were like me and get in my confidence so they can find out who I am and where I'm at. And one perfect example of that, I had a guy that went on and on about how as soon as he got out of the military, he was going to grow his dreadlocks because he wanted to serve Jesus. And I got a message from him a couple of days ago about dreadlocks saying, "Who are you to overthrow the authority of St. Paul's letter from God himself to some kind of ridiculous thing about how I am going against the Bible by growing dreadlocks?" So this person invested 3 or 4 months of his life to convincing me that he was like me just so he could find out who I was. That's dangerous, and that's going to happen to you if you do what I'm doing. Now, the neighbor that has been giving me these bizarre looks has come over here when I'm not home and killed 40 of my chickens. He has poisoned my dog, and I've got about $500 in vet bills to get my dog back into health. And the reason I know that he did that is the vet said, keep the dog on a special diet. Don't let him have any treats. And I came out one day, and my wife came out another day, and both of us witnessed my neighbor calling the dog and giving him a treat. And we talked about it and said, well, I don't want to talk to him because I don't like the guy, so let's just not let the dog go over there. So every time we let the dog out, we take and hand walk him back here in the woods. We don't let him just run in our front yard. Instantly cured. Instantly cured of whatever it was that was wrong with him, just went away that day. And also, this right back here, I got a neighbor with a dog that used to come visit my dog. One day, my wife starts screaming and crying. I ran the door, and the dog was laying there flipping around, and he couldn't walk. And so we picked him up, carried him in the house, and nursed him best we could, and brought him back home. And I found a bowl of antifreeze in my yard. So, like I say, this guy has killed my cat. He's poisoned my dog. He's poisoned the neighbor's dog, thinking he was killing my dog. And he's killed 40 of my chickens. And he's cut down my fruit trees and poured Roundup on my fruit trees. That's why you haven't seen me do any permaculture videos. It's hard to do a permaculture video when I know everything I plant is going to get cut down. I did go and invest in a surveillance system. It's got cameras that go all the way around the house. And just out of paranoia, I start thinking, what if the guy burns my house down? Then I don't have any evidence. So I went and bought 2 trail cams. We're going to get a 3rd one, so we'll have, trail cams pointed at the house. So if somebody burns a house down along with the surveillance system, then we have them on video at least, because those are self-contained. You don't have to have them in a house, or they don't go to a hard drive in the house. Okay, is that a little bit stronger message for you? Look, it says in the Bible that if they have persecuted me, they will persecute you also. This, in case any of you think this is church, I am not wearing a costume. That's the first thing. There's first hint. I'm not lighting candles. There ain't no big old cross hanging on the walls. Not statues all around me. No stained glass. No suits. No haircuts. This is not church. If you want to play, go to church. This is for real. And it's dangerous. If you don't want to survive, don't listen to me.